That would be awesome. Just to start the recording. I forgot on the start the recording.
I was supposed to say that then that what do you call it? Okay, that light is only for
you.
camera being on. I remembered at least twice.
What?
I remember at least twice about the recording.
Okay, okay,
But then
okay,
I thought
okay.
it's always recording.
No, 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 no. Okay, okay, yeah, no, yeah. Okay. All right. So, yes, so let's not get distracted. So, how we can apply this in our daily life? So, see, I'll give you the hint and you can take it from there. Living alone in a secluded place. So, we cannot live alone physically, but our mind can be stabilized so that we are focusing on Krishna. Always care.
Meditation.
Sorry?
Meditation.
So, see, meditation is very difficult, Sridhar. You practice meditation, right, Sridhar? You don't, okay. A lot of people, they practice, and all those practitioners, I've heard that half an hour is good, 1 hour is good. After that, it's very hard to do. You cannot, your mind cannot work. Even for the, it always flickers, right? It keeps going and managing the mind, bringing it back. And the purpose of the meditation is actually to focus on Krishna, to Paramatma. Okay, to focus on Paramatma as Krishna. That is the purpose of meditation. Now we can do the other kind of a meditation because we know that in Kali Yuga, controlling the mind is so difficult. Can we focus our mind on Krishna or the objects related with Krishna? So that also becomes meditation. That also becomes meditation. And you'll see as we enter into the bhakti section, what Krishna is talking about. So then you'll make the whole connection why I'm talking about. So the goal is, let's say mind is going everywhere. So I control the mind. I control the mind and apply the principle of Astanga Yoga here, which is controlling the mind. So if in throughout our day we try to control the mind and focus, let's say even if there is a, of course the focus of Astanga Yoga is Krishna, right? Somebody can, and initially if you're confused that, oh, Krishna or Narayana or Vishnu, forget, all are same. Okay, let's assume all are same. They are not same, but I'm just, for the simplicity, I'm saying that they are all deriving for the same form. Okay, so we can focus on Krishna by engaging our body, mind, and self. And so he says, engage our body, mind, and self in samadhi. So now we can engage our body, mind, and self in focusing on Krishna and doing the work for Krishna. Okay. So free from all desires and possessiveness. Again, we should not be attached or averse to anything. We should know that whatever we have got, that is for our own good sake, that what we have got in our life. Everything is a gift of God. Now sitting firmly, fixing the mind, being erect, meditating on my form, right? These are things which the advanced stage talked about. The beginning stage talk about, right? This is the asana stage. That's what it talks about. So these are things, of course, we can maintain a good body, right? And so that we can do the more seva. Now the goal of Astanga Yoga is cessation of all material existence. Now tell me, who can do cessation of all material existence? Like nirvana. It's very difficult again, right? So cessation of material desires. So we can abandon material desire. And then further, diet, sleep, that is the regulation. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little, sleep don't too much or too little. Regulate ourselves. That is important. Okay, and then one no, no, these are the ones yeah, these are the summary. I'm going over the summary, what we have studied so far. And then the perfectional stage of Astanga Yoga, there all the this is disciplined mental activities or consciousness, being fixed in the self or transcendence, devoid of all material desire. And the example is, just as a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the yogi whose mind is controlled remains steady in his meditation on the self. So this is what the meditation is. Meditation is just like if you keep the candle and there is and when there is no wind, it's just stable. Light is stable. The mind has to be stable like that. But as we know, it's very difficult. It's almost impossible to do that. So what we can do, we can study our mind on Krishna, his service. So in that case, if you think that your family has been provided to you by the mercy of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, you can turn on the light, Prabhuji. Yeah, yeah, this one. Just press, yeah, just press it. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. So, so this is what we have talked, right? If you think that your family has been provided you by the mercy of Krishna, then we become taking care of our family as a service to Krishna, as a service to Krishna. And then so now I'm not, this is a very fine difference. So one way is, I think my wife, my children. Other is, my wife has been given to me by Krishna to take care in this life. My children have been given to me under my care by Krishna. Now, from that perspective, you start taking care of them. The the things changes. Okay, you are not attached, but you are connecting everything to Krishna. So this is what it talks about. And then realization in perfection as a Stanga yoga, right? Um, um, that one thinks, having obtained this, he thinks there is no greater gain, situated in full determination, was never shaken even in greatest difficulty. So once we have established samadhis, once somebody established their mind on Krishna, then they don't waver in even in the difficult to difficult circumstances. Okay. Now we'll start from 24. Let me go to my. So the storyline here is, practice with determination. How can one reach this stage? Mind is so flickering. So Arjuna is telling, mind is so flickering. Krishna, you are telling that I should practice, and my mind shouldn't waver. It should be just like a lamp which doesn't move in the wind, right? How can I do that? So Krishna is telling that is true, Krishna, Arjun. However, practice yoga with determination and faith. So determination and the faith both is required, and abandon all material desire. So focus is, we cannot abandon all desire, but we can abandon material desire born from mind. So mind is the one which tells that I want this, I want that. So how we can abandon those desire coming from the mind and replace it with the higher desire, and whenever wherever the mind wanders, bring it back under control. So this is just like a, when we are going to the gym and we are exercising, slowly the mind, we build the muscle. Similarly, our mind will become stronger as we are able to control it. So controlling the mind is a science. It takes practice for this. Okay, first consider yourself separate from the mind, then try to control it. So this is the a good tip. So if you want to control the mind, just don't tell, start thinking my mind is not getting controlled. Don't say I cannot control myself. My mind is not getting controlled. So separate yourself from the mind. So now you know that mind is not behaving. You are all see, you as a person or me as a person have a soul. That is it has a separate identity than the mind. So that is important. And that will help.
If Arjuna is saying that it's so hard to control the mind at that age, imagine in the TikTok age.
Yes. It's very hard. It's very hard. That's the reason why Ashtanga yoga practice in this age is very hard to do. Right? This is not recommended. As the Shastra itself says that in this Kali Yuga, the easiest practice is this Hare Nam, this like 16 names of Krishna is the easiest practice that one can do. Okay. So now he says, is samadhi, Arjuna is asking, is samadhi same as self-realization? So what Krishna is telling? No, self-realization takes place after entering samadhi. So samadhi is a prerequisite to get the self-realization. And what does the self-realization really means? Yes, so two things. Brahma Bhuta, realizing that I am the soul. Okay, and then also Brahma Sparsha, realizing that I have the super soul also. So these two state, understanding those two things, just not in knowledge, in truth, one feels it. Once feels it, then what then one is called that I am self-realized, and that person is in samadhi. Okay. So this is the understanding samadhi. All are souls. In all there are super souls, and in super soul is all. Right? So basically, I see that I am a soul. Everybody has a soul and a super soul, and we are within super soul. Okay, so it's both understanding. Super soul is in me, and I am within super soul. Then the next question, Arjuna asks, "O Madhusudan, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and undurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady." Just as Sridhar, you were asking, right? Arjuna is asking the same question. So Sridhar and Arjuna, they are asking from the same platform. So one for whom impossible is possible, one who has conquered sleep. So see, why this is important. Arjuna has conquered sleep. Yeah, he was called Gudakesha. Gudakesha, that means the one who has conquered sleep. So yeah, he won't sleep. He can fight all night and.
I thought that's Bhishma.
No, no, no. That was his name was Varkodraya, who's a voracious eater. Bhima. He was a voracious eater.
No,
But
Bhishma can stay up all night, all day for so many days. That's what I've heard. In fact, even on the deathbed, he was like
Bhishma.
Bhishma. Yeah.
Bhishma, you're
Yeah,
talking.
I said
Bhishma, not Bhim. I was hearing Bhim.
No, Bhishma.
Bhishma. Yes, yes. Bhishma can also do that. Yes,
Right.
Bhishma can also do that. So Arjuna can also do that. Bhishma can also do that. So now this Arjuna who has conquered sleep, he's telling that I cannot conquer the mind.
Wow.
So mind controlling the mind is so difficult. Okay, it's very difficult even for Arjuna. So then here further Arjuna is telling the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think is more difficult than controlling the wind. So Arjuna can control the wind, but he is telling I cannot control the mind. And there is a very nice verse from the one of the Upanishad. It says, Markatasya surapanam tasya varshishika dam damashnam tan madhye bhuta samcharo yadva tadva bhavishyati. So just as monkey which is drunk and stung, and a ghost has haunted the monkey, this is how mind acts. So just think, if the monkey is drunk and stung by the bees, and is being even haunted by the ghost, then how the monkey will act? Monkey itself is jumping all the time. Then you make him drink also, right? And then bees have stung, so now he's just jumping from that also. And then the ghost is also there in him. So that's how the mind is compared to. So mind is very hard to control. So this is like we have around 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. That's the reason mind gets so tired. So mind control is also almost impossible. But here Krishna says it is. It is. So he agrees. Krishna is telling, I agree that it is very difficult what you are telling, but it is possible by suitable and repeated practice and detachment. So that's where we start. We start doing austerity, like we do fasting, we do Ekadashi, right? We try to control our senses. All these regulative principles. Hare Krishna Mataji, regulative principle, right? So we try to do that. And once we do, slowly mind will start coming under control. And you'll see mantra meditation, it has the special, this is only, it can be proven scientifically by doing experiment. And there are experiment where they showed that when the mantra was being recited, they had the sand, different sand particle, and when the mantra sound vibration was recited, then all these sand, they came into the special formation. Thank you. Formation. So, and they repeated with a different mantra, and the formation was. So they proved that mantra has a special potency. Okay. So when we chant the mantra, it tries to align our mind to the soul. Okay. So that's how over time, when we start doing it, our mind becomes much more controlled, and you will see some of the symptoms which will you see, you will get less you will get less misery. Even though situation is not easy, you will feel less misery. You will have less anger. You will start, you will become more grateful to the gift we have received in our life, which we forget, right? Having, we are very lucky to have received what we have received. There are a lot of people who struggle to meet their end meet also, right? So it becomes very difficult. So therefore, we should be very grateful to the God. Every day we should be grateful for the relationship we have got, the life we have got, right? Uh, and especially the devotee, right? And any of you who is now started practicing, I know that you are all practicing bhakti. We should be so grateful that Krishna has come in our life through the agency of devotee, right? Means I always feel so grateful to all my mentors and all the friends who brought me to Krishna consciousness and gave me this knowledge of bhakti yoga. Okay, so at this point of time I will go to the verse. We have to start from 24, right? No, we have covered up to 23, right?
Finish 4 slokas at the same time.
23, I think we have covered up to 23. Let me just hold on.
Yes, we finished 6:20 to 23. Yes.
23 we have finished. Okay, so let's start from 24. Okay. सनिश्चयन् युक्तव्यो
संशयेन युक्तव्यो
योगो निर्विनचेतसा
योगो निर्विनचेतसा
संकल्प प्रभावन कामास
संकल्पप्रभावन् कामान्
त्यक्त्वा सर्वन् अशेषता
त्यक्त्वा सर्वम् अशेषता
मनाशैवेन्द्रियग्रामां विनियामा समन्ततः.
विनयाभ्यासमन्ततः.
So what is telling? So this is the this 24 and 24, this section 24 to 32 is about attaining perfection in Ashtanga Yoga. And this is the method to attain Yoga Ruddha. So Yoga Ruddha stage. So this 25 and 26 is talking about how to attain the Yoga Ruddha. Yoga Ruddha means the advanced stage of Ashtanga Yoga, which is dharana, dhyana, samadhi. How to attain that? So here Krishna is telling one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith. So I highlighted determination and faith is important and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. So again, things we should try to abandon our material desire. So we have to reduce. It's not possible for all of us to abandon the material desire immediately, but being aware that this is material desire, this is for my sense gratification, how can I control it and minimize it will help us. But the best thing what we share for bhakti yoga, we do not focus on the negation, rather we think of addition. So if we add Krishna in your life, this material desire will automatically start diminishing. Okay. And determination, determination is a sign of goodness. Determination is a sign of mode of goodness. Once one start becoming determined that I want to practice bhakti yoga, that person is has elevated himself from the mode of ignorance and passion to the mode of goodness. Okay. So regarding bhakti yoga, this is a wonderful verse from Rupa Goswami. It is in the Nectar of Instruction. It says, Utsaha nishya dhairya tattat karma pravartata tanat sanga tyagat sato vrita sabdir bhaktir prashidyati. One can execute the process of bhakti yoga successfully with full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and determination by following the prescribed duties in the association of devotees and by engaging completely in activities of goodness. Okay, so see what I have highlighted here, following the prescribed duties and then in the association of devotees. So if we really want to make progress on the path of bhakti yoga, we should get in association of devotees. Okay, and follow the rules and regulation of and what is the rules and regulation? What are the rules and regulations which is being discussed here?
The last three Ashtanga Yoga.
So this is because here in the purport, uh, Prabhupada is talking about the Bhakti Yoga, right? Ashtanga Yoga is has the principle of Bhakti Yoga, but it is not Bhakti Yoga, right? Ashtanga Yoga is telling that you have to go to a secluded place. We said that that is not possible. Then what we are trying to glean out of it is the principles which can help us grow, right? So in that relationship, Prabhupada had mentioned here this particular verse where he's telling that we can achieve same thing. Like we can, so what he says, one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desire born of mental speculation. So how we can abandon? So principle is one has to abandon all material desire born of which comes from the mental. See, all material desire is always born of mental speculation. It's not coming from the soul. Soul doesn't want material desire. Soul only want spiritual desire. Okay, so whenever we are getting that I want to go for a movie, I want to eat this, I want to eat that, it is mainly the mind is telling, oh, this is very good, let's do that. Right? So that's the reason it's called mental speculation. Mind thinks if I do this, then I will become happy. Mind thinks. Okay. Uh, so here the principle is we can apply same thing in bhakti yoga, which is more practical in this, and you'll see by the end of this chapter you will see what Krishna has to tell. Okay, until then just have faith that the principle which we are applying for a purpose, which is here the principle is following the prescribed duty in the association of devotees. So the prescribed duty is ABCD: association, book, chanting, and diet. Association, book, chanting, and diet. So verse 25, Sanhi Saner Upar, sorry, Sane Saner Uparmad Buddhya Dhriti Grihyatya Atma Samstam Mana Kritva Na Kinchit Api Chintayat. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. So this is how to. So again, let's not get confused. So I'm going to repeat it. Here, this is the prescription for one to practice the advanced stage of Ashtanga yoga where one is in the forest, they are sitting on the deer skin and they are meditating, and now the previous step says that abandon all material desires. So one is controlling the material desire, and then now it is telling that by intelligence and full conviction that I can do it, focus your mind on the self. Self means within the heart, right? On the soul and the super soul. So that's what it's telling. Okay, so that's how one can go and get into the advanced stage. So first in the advanced stage there is some step called pratyahara, right? Pratyahara, one says that, oh, I am going to control all my senses. I am not in control of senses, rather I am going to control the senses. That's called pratyahara. Okay, and then from there one enters into the dhyana, dharana, and samadhi. So these two verses are for that. Okay, 26. So how to bring the mind back? This is what it is talking about. Yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam asthiram
मनश्चञ्चलम् अस्थिरं
ततस्ततो नियम्यात्याद
ततस्ततो नियमात्
आत्मानि एव वसं नयेत्.
आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत्.
From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Okay. So the process is, as soon as the mind flickers and I realize that mind has gone off, I bring it back. Right. And this same principle has to be applied whenever we are chanting. When we are chanting, we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. While we're chanting, I should be hearing. But what happens many times, it will the mind will wander off. I'm not listening. In that case, I bring the mind back and start listening again. Okay. So what is the nature of the mind is flickering and unsteady. But a self-realized yogi has to control the mind. The mind should not control him. One who controls the mind and therefore the senses as well as is called Goswami or Swami. And one who is controlled by the mind is called Godasa or the servant of the senses. So now you understand what is the understanding. So we say that so and so Goswami, right? Sannyasis are called Goswamis. So why they are called Goswamis? Because they can control their mind. And one who cannot control our mind is called Godasa. So if we are not able to do it, we are Godasas, right? We are all Godasas. Serving Krishna with purified senses is called Krishna consciousness. Okay. So the purified senses means the firm faith, purified faith. Okay. And with that, we can control our mind slowly. Now, this verse is about realizing the Atma, how one can Brahma Bhuta platform, how one can realize the Atma.
Are there any Goswamis that they claim that they are Goswamis?
Yeah, there are many Goswamis. There are many Goswamis. Yes. In Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, many Goswamis. There are many Goswamis. Right? So now, how many? So I know about.
No, in the recent past,
Yeah, recently means most initiating guru has to be sannyasi. Most, not all, most. Okay, and and they are all self-controlled. They're all self-controlled, but yet at the same time there are a lot of dhongi sannyasi also, who wear the orange dress, but externally they will show all the same thing, but they are not controlled. So they are dhongi babas also, right? So yes, we have the mix package, but if you but that if we see the people who are cheaters, that doesn't mean that this is not possible. It's fully possible, Sridhar. Actually, this is something we can do it. And as we are practicing, you will see mind becomes quite subdued and we are able to control it quite well.
In ISKCON, do we have any who say that they are Goswamis? They claim?
Yeah, it's not, so they cannot claim, they are given. So this is something, I cannot say Deepak Goswami. Today from today, I declare I am Goswami, I can control my senses. Right?
No, but it is you who knows first before someone can.
So your guru, your guru, so you will always be very humble. Means one person always think that I am the most fallen, right? And other people are better than me. So that's the humbleness. Okay. It's not external. They really see that. They become so clean that even the minute things they have in their heart, they will think that I am a most fallen. Right? Let's say out of a 24 hour, they are not able to remember Krishna for 6 minutes. They think I'm most fallen. That time I was thinking something else, right? But the guru knows that this person is ready and he can be given the sannyas diksha and and they are renamed as Swami or Goswami.
But the guru has to be Goswami to say that?
Yeah. The guru has to be elevated. So the one who is giving the degree should have that degree. Right? Otherwise, how I cannot make somebody Goswami. A Goswami can make me a Goswami. Right? So yes, so guru is, so for example, Srila Prabhupada, right? He is Bhakti Vedanta, right? He's given a title Bhakti Vedanta. And just it's not a title. See, title was given, but then you look at his life, what he did. He came to US when he was 60. He came in 65 when he was 70-year-old. Okay, and within 10 years, 11 years, he established 108 temples. He made the whole Western world chant Hare Krishna. The whole Western world was chanting Hare Krishna. Whole means there was everywhere people knew about it. The Hare Krishna movement became popular. It became the thing on the TV and the news. Everybody was talking about it, right? How somebody who's 17 or 7, have you seen 70-year-old? Look at our parents, right? How much there's no body, there's not much energy in the body, right? And this Prabhupada came on ship and able to do all those stuff. So that tells us they are just empowered. Empowered. Of course, his guru has given him the Bhakti Vedanta title, right? So he was at the Paramhamsa level. Is Paramhamsa means is the highest level of sannyas order. And then Prabhupada came, and when he was preaching, then he was giving to the people, he was giving the sannyas order, he was making the Goswami, Swami, right? So, so he made a lot of people. Of course, some of them they fell. Fell means they couldn't keep up their vow of celibacy. Keeping the vow of celibacy is very difficult. Okay, it's because the mind, it tricks us. It tricks us. So, so there in ISKCON there are officially there are at least 300 or so Swami Goswamis who give initiation.
Swami and Goswami are the same?
Yeah, they are the same. They are the same. Some are called Goswami, some are called Swami. Guru decide.
There are 300 of them in ISKCON.
Who are there can be more. These are 300 who are giving initiation. Who can initiate? Who can give diksha? To give the diksha, I was telling, like you should be at certain level. You cannot impart something which you cannot. You know what happens when one is given the diksha? You know what happens? Through the mantra, you are brought into the parampara system. And when you say parampara system, you are coming under the protection of Krishna. But because we have done so much of sin, our sin is taken by the Guru and given to Krishna. Because we are not able to chant and practice Krishna consciousness if we are carrying too much of the sin, baggage of sin. It will bring us down. To do that, the person initiating Guru should have power to do that, right? Krishna should like that person that, yeah, you can take this sin from this person and give it to me. So Guru becomes the via media. He is representative of Krishna. He's not an ordinary person. He's not a person, right? He is directly the spiritual potency of Krishna. So Guru is very special. So that's the reason um, uh, Guru should be made by after very careful consideration. I shouldn't get fooled by the wrong Guru. And there are a lot of philosophy. There are people say that, oh, you don't need to read any book. You just read my book. Or you're telling you don't need to remember Krishna. You just remember me. I will liberate you. People have all those conceptions, right? And those are all the wrong conception, not approved by Shastras. Those things doesn't work. It is just people are fooling the other person. Okay? So that's also so coming back to the question, these Swami Goswami, they are very powerful. They have all the power, but they don't practice it. Right? For example, there was one recently, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He's one of the ISKCON Goswami. He passed away because after he passed away, a lot of people were glorifying him. That and one person was telling that there was a big program in Delhi. Thousand people were there, and it started raining very badly. They were very patient, and then like they were trying, and then after a while, then Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj says that Indra, stop. So somebody heard. The rain stopped immediately. So these are not the things to just to say and oh, these are there's a story. We know personally. I know people who are very elevated. They are not even. You don't need to be a Goswami or Swami to have those power. Once you become a true bhakta, pure bhakta, all these powers comes automatically. But devotee don't want these powers. What they want? What they want, Prabhu?
They want the shelter of Krishna.
They want the shelter of Krishna. They want love of Krishna. They don't want this power because these powers can bring you down. When you think I am powerful, you said Sridhar Prabhu, you said this to me. Shoo! right? So that will bring us down. So devotee, they don't focus on the power. They want the love of Krishna, and they don't show off this. Okay. Okay, verse 27. Prashanta manasam he enam yogi nam sukham uttamam upeti santa rajasham. Rajasham is not Rajasham. Rajasham Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham. So this is talking about Brahma Bhuta, how one can achieve the realization of the soul. So the yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reaction to the past deed. So the yogi, see the yogi, once whose minds gets fixed on Krishna, he is telling that they get the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. Why? Because once somebody has transcended the mode of nature, which is above the mode of passion, ignorance, goodness, so above the mode of passion, that person realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme. What is qualitative identity? What does the qualitative identity means? What, Prabhuji?
That we are
No, no.
part and parcel of Lord
No, the
Krishna.
part and parcel is the qualitative identity. So what is the identity of Krishna? Is Sat Chit Anand. His quality is Sat Chit Anand, which is eternal, full of knowledge, and always full of bliss. So we realize we also have the same quality. We want to be happy. Our soul is eternal, and we also have knowledge. We can gain knowledge. Right now it's covered, right? So we understand that after once I understand that we are qualitatively the same. So the ocean of water and the drop of water, they are one and the same. That's what it means by qualitatively. I know I am also the drop of water. Okay, drop of Krishna, and then from there I understand we are part and parcel of Krishna. Okay, so that's the qualitative identity with the Supreme. Uh, Anybody would like to read this purport?
Brahma Bhuta is the state of being free from material contamination and situated in the transcendental service of the Lord. Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. One cannot remain in the quality of Brahman, the Absolute, until one's mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. Save Manah Krishna Pada, Padarvindayo. To be always engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord, or to remain in Krishna consciousness, is to be factually liberated from the mode of passion and all material contamination.
Yeah, so so to get into the Brahma Bhuta stage means I have realized that I am soul and I am part and parcel of the Krishna, right? So to get that, one has to take shelter of Krishna, and then one will be able to do that. Otherwise, the mode are going to pull us back. Okay. Now the next stage, right, which is realizing the Paramatma. That is what is being talked about in this verse. Yunjan evam सदत सदतमनम सदात्मानम योगी विगत कल्मषः
Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम
Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham
अत्यंतम सुखम अश्नुते.
Atyantam Sukham Ashnute.
Thus, the self controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. So, the self controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material. So, at this point of time, the yogi becomes totally, once somebody has taken shelter of Krishna, one is totally freed from all material contamination, and they achieve the highest stage of perfect happiness, because that time now they are fully connected with Krishna. And once gets fully connected with Krishna, so Krishna, you just try to visualize. So right now, I am alone, independent, and here is Krishna. Krishna is full of bliss. I want bliss, but I am covered. So I only get, pardon me?
You said I'm covered?
Covered by our consciousness are covered
Okay,
by
got
them,
that right.
right? So we are in illusion. Now, but once I establish the connection, just see that now there is a pipe which is going there and connecting with Krishna. Okay. And but initially it is my I have got little purity, so little connection has happened. But as there is a more purity is coming in my heart, their realization, and I'm fully connected. So even though I am limited, I can only get little happiness, but Krishna can get unlimited happiness. So even in my limited body, I can get unlimited happiness because I'm connected with Krishna. So that's the kind of transcendental loving service can give. So that's the Brahma Samsparsha. This is the stage, Brahma Samsparsha, where one is completely aware of the Paramatma aspect of the Lord. Okay, so now, but next what happens? So see, these are the stages. So the first symptom is one sees that I am a soul. Next step is one sees within oneself the super soul. Next, what happens? So 29 and 30 verse says that one sees Paramatma or Krishna everywhere. So this is the verse which says that one sees the Paramatma and Krishna everywhere. Sarva Bhuta Stham Atmanam.
सर्वभूतस्थम आत्मानं
Sarva Bhutani Chatmani.
सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
Ikshate yoga yuktatma
ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा
sarvatra samadarshana.
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः.
A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. So this person, let's say, is here. He would see that, oh, Sridhar is a super soul. He will just bow at him, right? And Sridhar will think, oh, why he's bowing at me? Why he's just putting his hand and just giving me dandavad? Because it's not that Sridhar has become great. Like he's seeing the Paramatma. He will bow down to Mataji, he will bow down to everybody because they start seeing Paramatma in everybody. Right? So they become very so they are just not externally, they are seeing it. So this is the symptom of the true yogi. Everywhere they see the presence of Paramatma in every being and everything. Okay. A Krishna conscious yogi is the perfect seer because he sees Krishna, the supreme situated in everyone's heart as super soul. The perfect yogi knows that the Lord is eternally transcendental and not materially affected by his presence in either a dog or a Brahman. That is the supreme neutrality of the Lord. So, right? So, even whether a dog or a Brahman, he sees the supreme within both of them. A Krishna conscious person can see Krishna in the heart of both the believer and the non-believer. So here they are not distinguishing between that who is a devotee and who is a non-devotee. They see Krishna, they see the Paramatma in both. In the Smriti is the part of Veda. In the Smriti, this is confirmed as follows. Atat Atatvakcha Matratvakcha Atma hi Parmo Harir. The Lord being the source of all being is like the mother and the maintainer. As the mother is neutral to all different kinds of children, the supreme father or mother is also consequently is also. So just like mother is always impartial. She doesn't distinguish that, oh, this child I love more and this child I love less. For mother, all the children are just the same. They love equally, right? Even the children may not love the mother, right? But the mother will always love the children. And the same like that, Krishna loves us all. Whether we are devotee or not a devotee, he loves us all. We should know that, right? But as we start loving him, then we'll see a lot more reciprocation from Krishna. Okay? So the yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although in different situation, according to the result of fruitive work, in all circumstances remain the servant of God. So the yogi always, in all circumstances, always remain the servant of the God. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tashaham na pranashyami sa cha mena pranashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor he is ever lost to me. So how do we know that somebody is elevated? By seeing that this person, this is what one get, right? If one's become fully, who is totally self-realized and who's seeing Krishna everywhere, then this is what Krishna gives. Krishna is telling that they never forget me and I never forget them. So Krishna also never forget that person. So let's say accident happens. We say that, oh, Krishna will always remember. And suddenly an accident happens. Car accident. We said, oh, that person couldn't remember Krishna because the car accident happened. Maybe he was seeing the broken glass, so the glass of this car is breaking. But Krishna will remember that person. So still that person will go back to Godhead. Okay, if somebody has practiced Krishna consciousness throughout the life, even if the accident happens due to maybe some special circumstances, still that person will go back to Krishna because Krishna will not forget that person. It's the guarantee Krishna gives, and we'll see in the further chapters. So anybody would like to read this paragraph? Yes, Mataji.
A person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energies. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of every energy, of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna, a position transcendental even to material liberation. At this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity can never be annihilated, nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of the sight of the devotee. To merge in Krishna's is spiritual annihilation. A devotee takes no such risk. It is stated in Brahma Samhita. I can say this.
Yes, Mataji, you can listen.
I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee, whose eyes are inundated with pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyamasundara, situated within the heart of the devotee. At this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself.
So see, this is so. Even though the principle is being talked about the Ashtanga Yoga, see, the goal of the all the yoga system is the same, to achieve the love of Godhead. Okay, but some method may be more difficult in Kali Yuga than the other. So here, what Prabhupada says that, okay, this is what Krishna is saying, but he's telling that if you are a devotional practice, which is what Bhakti Yogi, this is how you can easily achieve this position. So he's telling, if one who is in Krishna consciousness, they are above the material liberation. So we say that I'll get liberated. But the person who is in Krishna consciousness is above the material liberation. Why? Why that person is above the material liberation? Yeah, so see, one is remembering Krishna, then of course will get liberated because Krishna will bring that person for his service. But they get more. What they get? They get the love of Krishna. So they are beyond material liberation. So one is of course free from the cycle of life and death, but they are getting the love of God. That's what the Krishna consciousness is: material liberation plus love of God. Okay, and then um, this time the devotee becomes one with the Krishna. I was telling that if you visualize that, you are fully connected with Krishna. You are fully connected with Krishna, and and you are seeing Krishna all the time. And there is an intimate relationship between Krishna and the devotee. And this beautiful prayer from Brahma Samhita, it is telling, Premanjanna charuti bhakti vilochinena santa sadeva hrideshu vilokayanti yam syama sundaram achintya guna sarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So this is these are the prayer sung by Brahma ji. So when Brahma ji got the realization, when he appeared, right, from the navel of Vishnu, right, then he was thinking what to do. And then after he was given tapa, that do tapa. He did the tapa. And then after tapa, then Krishna came and he gave him the knowledge, right? And after getting the knowledge, then he started praying, oh Krishna, who you are. So Brahma ji, who is the creator, secondary creator of this material manifestation, is singing this prayer. So who would know more about Krishna than Brahma ji? He is the first living being, okay, who is praying, and he's telling, I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee, whose eyes are inundated with the pulp of love. So devotees' eyes are they're always full of love for Krishna. He's seen his eternal form of Syam Sundar situated within the heart of the devotee. So devotee always sees the Syam Sundar sitting in the heart. Okay. So this was verse 30, 31. सर्वभूता स्थितं यो माम्
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां
भजते एकत्वम् अस्थितः
भजति एकेत्वम् अस्थितः
सर्वतः वर्तमानोऽपि
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
स योगी मयि वर्तते.
स योगी मयि वर्तते.
Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the super soul, knowing that I and the super soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. So what this is the action of a perfect yogi. So such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the super soul, knowing that I and the super soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. So now there is a full connection between the soul and super soul. Even though I have soul and super soul in my heart, right now I don't know the soul, but let's say I have realized that, oh, I am a soul. Then further realization, I have a super soul. And then there is a communication happening between super soul and soul all the time. If it is happening, then super soul, through that agency of super soul, I I will know I will know about all the super soul which is sitting in everyone's heart. So let me tell you, this I said in a convoluted manner. So a lot of people, they can read your mind, they can know about you. How that connection happens? Or husband and wife. Many times husband and wife knows about each other, right? Like let's say husband husband is asking for to the wife, hey, where is that thing? Where is that thing? I'm in the hurry. I want to go to the office. Wife will tell, oh, that is under the bed. Happens to you? Wife seems to know. Similarly, many times husband seems to know. When you are intimately connected, you get to know each other, and the things which is not even said, you just know. There's a prenumeration, right? You just get an idea. Oh, you get a feeling that this is what person is asking, what is what the thing happening. Similarly, when we connect with Krishna, due to that connection, I will know what Sridhar is thinking about. Oh, maybe Sridhar wants it. Maybe Sridhar wants some help. Suddenly, I will call Sridhar and say, Sridhar, I thought that, I was coming here. I thought I'll bring this to you. And Sridhar was thinking, wow, I was looking for this thing and Deepak is bringing it. And this has happened. This has happened, means personally, we have seen it happen in our life, right? And a lot of devotee, they feel that. So once we start connecting with Krishna, you will see more and more these things will happen in our life, because Paramatma as an agent enables us to fulfill the service which we are trying to do for Krishna. So a devotee take very big service. They are not rich, but let's say they want to construct a temple, which is going to take multi-million dollar, right? So what will happen, because that devotee has a very sincere desire and he's trying very hard, things will start falling into place. Initially, it might be very difficult, but then slowly it will start falling in place. We will see the beauty of Krishna. Okay. So Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in yoga practice. This very understanding that Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart makes the yogi faultless. The Vedas, Gopala Tapani Upanishad, confirms this inconceivable potency of the Lord as follows. Eko Ekopi san Bahuda yo Vabhati. Although the Lord is one, he is present in innumerable hearts as many. Similarly, in the Smriti Shastra, it is said, Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all pervading. By his unconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere as the sun appears in many places at once. So, I would like you to introduce my mentor and my teacher, Madhav Chandra Prabhu. Yeah, so he is visiting from India. He taught me and my whole class Bhagavad Gita for 7 years.
What's the name?
Madhav Chandra Das. Yeah, Madhav Chandra Das. Okay, that's
Yeah, of course,
yeah. Yeah. He is also known as Muru Subramaniam also. He is also known as, but his name is Madhav Chandra Das because he has become the Das of Krishna through the Guru. So he is serving the Guru, all the servant of the Gurus. He has become the servant of the servant of the servant. Okay, that should be our mood. Right, so he's just visiting here. So I wanted him to give the class, but Prabhu is busy. Next week he will give. Okay, next week he will give you the class. Okay, so
can't miss it.
huh?
We can't miss it.
Here you cannot miss him. Miss it. Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, you're going to Raghav Prabhu. Yeah, I think he was. I was getting a call. I don't know why he was calling. Maybe you can. Yeah, just check. Yeah, you messaged him. Okay. Okay. So he might be checking for you. Yeah, he might be checking for you. Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Which chapter you are in?
Prabhu, chapter 6,
Oh,
Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga.
where?
Now we are verse 32.
32.
Yeah. So we,
Another 15 verses.
yeah. I think you can cover the last section to 47. So that will be perfect icing on the cake. So you can finish that. Yeah. So I'll try to finish today up to
Yes, yes.
35, 36, something like that.
All the best. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Hare Guru Prabhuji, Hare Guru.
Thank you.
आत्मोपयन सर्वत्र समम पश्यति यो अर्जुन.
It is not visible.
Oh, yes, okay. It's not visible. And thank you. That's the reason Prabhu moved from here. Okay, from there to here. Is it visible now? Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Otherwise, your eyes will become very tired. So, okay. Samam pashyati yo Arjuna. Sukham va yadi va dukham. Sa yogi parmo mata. He is a perfect yogi he is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress. So the yogi sees the means they are whether they are happy or they are distressed, they see Krishna. Right? So one who is in Krishna consciousness is a perfect yogi. He is aware of everyone's happiness and distress. So I was telling, right? The person who becomes yogi, they become aware of everyone's happiness and distress by the dint of his own personal experience. Okay, and further the I'm just staying okay. And the cause of happiness is knowing Krishna to be the supreme enjoyer of all the activities of the human beings, the proprietor of all lands and planets, and the sincerest friend of all living entities. So this is how one should see that how Krishna is the controller and proprietor of everything and every being, and he is our best friend. The perfect yogi knows that the living being who is conditioned by the modes of material nature is subjected to the threefold material misery due to the forgetfulness of his relationship with Krishna. What do you understand by the threefold material miseries? Yes.
Adi Deva, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik.
Yeah, very good. So all those three. So misery caused by our own mind, misery caused by other people, and misery caused by Mother Nature. Okay. And then also this also means like misery caused by the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? So threefold miseries. So since the perfect yogi tries to broadcast the importance of becoming Krishna consciousness, he is the best philanthropist in the world. Right? So the person who becomes Krishna consciousness, they become the best philanthropist. So we don't, so see, a lot of people, they become philanthropy, they want to open the hospital, churches, schools and all those stuff, right? But the person who is Krishna consciousness, they become the best philanthropist. Why? Why it is telling that they become the best philanthropist? Yeah, so just not about the money. They are thinking about the welfare of everybody all the time. Philanthropist means I want to do the welfare for the others. I see that there is no education, I will open a school. Kids are very poor, I will provide them money or do something, right? But the Krishna conscious person, they become a best philanthropist because all the time they are seeing the Krishna's creation, they are seeing Krishna in everyone, and they are seeing, oh, this person should also come in Krishna consciousness. This person should also come in Krishna consciousness. How can I bring this person to Krishna consciousness? Oh, maybe this, if I provide this, maybe I provide this education, it will bring him closer. So they become the best. So all their life they become the best philanthropist. That's the reason. Because they are seeing Krishna in everything. They know the purpose of life. The purpose of life is I should go back to Krishna and he should also come to back to Krishna. He should also come back to Krishna. Everybody should come back to Krishna. So that's the true Krishna conscious person. Shiva Prabhu, do you want to read this paragraph? Buddy?
Kachinme Priya Krittama. In other words, a devotee of Lord always looks to welfare of all living entities, and in this way he's actually a friend of everyone. He's the best yogi because he doesn't desire perfection in yoga for his personal benefit, but tries for others also. He does not envy his fellow living entities. Here is a contrast between a pure devotee of the Lord and a yogi interested only in his personal elevation. The yogi who has withdrawn to a secluded place in order to meditate perfectly may not be as perfect as a devotee who is trying his best to turn every man toward Krishna consciousness.
See the what is the takeaway, Prabhu? As you are reading, something comes to your mind. Pardon, Prabhu, what, Sridhar Prabhu?
The last statement.
Last statement, yeah. The yogi who has withdrawn to a secluded place in order to meditate perfectly may not be as perfect as the devotee is trying his best to turn every man towards Krishna consciousness. So yogi, Astanga yogi is thinking the welfare for himself only, himself or herself, right? But yogi is just not thinking about himself. They are thinking of others. In many cases, devotee ignore themselves to think the welfare of other people. So see, a lot of time the volunteers, they are that day you worked until 12 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m. There was a pain on the body. Your wife might be missing you, right? I know she doesn't miss you, but so might be missing you, right? So, but see, you are not. You are saying, I will. It's okay. Let my family miss me for time, but I will do the welfare for everybody, right? So now that's what the mood becomes, and that's how we become very enthusiastic. Okay. So this 33 to 36 word, Krishna is talking about the necessity of controlling the mind. Okay.
When is your teacher is going to teach us from which
Wherever we finish, he will teach from there. This is until 47. This is still there is a lot of verses.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, my teacher sometimes goes slow. He takes everything. Yeah, so I'm not sure he will be able to even finish the chapter. So, but I want him to finish the chapter. So let me cover some more verses. He taught us Bhagavad Gita for 7 years. Okay, I'm trying to finish in like
3 years.
3 years. Yes, I'm just yeah. Arjuna Uvacha Yogyam Yogas Tvaya Prokta Samyena Madhusudana
Samyena Madhusudana
Etasyamana Pashyami
Etasyamana Pashyami
Chanchalatvat Sthiram.
Chanchalatva Sthitim Sthiram.
Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and undurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Do you agree with this? The so far Krishna is telling you should go to a secluded place, you should do this, you should do that, and control your mind. So Arjuna is telling, That seems very impractical. And and Arjuna is talking about this when he's still in Dwapar Yuga, right? Kali Yuga hasn't even started. That time he's telling is impractical. So now what happens? There's some note I have put. Okay, that's fine. Next verse. Chanchalam he mana Krishna
Chanchala hi mana Krishna.
Pramati ballavadridham
Pramathi balavadridam.
Tashyama nigraha manye
Tasyaham nigraham manye.
Vayor eva sudushkaram.
Vayoriva suduskaram.
The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think is more difficult than controlling the wind. Right? He's telling it is it is certainly very difficult to control the mind, right? Artificially, one may establish a mental equilibrium towards both friend and enemy, but ultimately, no worldly man can do so, for this is more difficult than controlling the raging wind, right? It's easy to say that I'll treat them friend and enemy equally, but it's very hard to do that. Even if people do little bit bad thing, we just try to ignore. We'll be very happy. Hare Krishna. We'll say that. Even devotee will say Hare Krishna. But in the mind, I'll avoid and I'll go to here. Right? Because so it's very hard. Right? So okay. So here there is a verse from Katha Upanishad, which Prabhupada is citing here. The individual is the passenger. So this is the okay. Um, this one is that how it can be compared that just like you have a car and a driver, right? Similarly, within the human body, or let me read it. The individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, and the senses are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer in association of the mind and senses. So it is understood by great thinkers. So this is the analogy what we have seen uh, chariot, right? We have seen in the chariot. So here Krishna is, Prabhupada is given the citation of a verse from Katha Upanishad, which is similar, which compares the car with the mind and the material body and how the intelligence is the driving instrument, right? And then because there is the association, the person thinks that if the car is suffering, I am suffering, right? Which is not the case. If the car goes bad, the passenger can go and take the car for repair if they are separate. But if I associate with the car, then if the car is going bad, I'll think, oh, my car has gone bad. I am suffering as much because let's say I'm too much attached to my car, and car meets with an accident. Man, what happened to my car? I will be so morose, right? But if this is just a car, it will get fixed. Then I'm not morose, right? So, so the easiest way to control the mind, as suggested by Lord Chaitanya, is chanting Hare Krishna, the great mantra for deliverance, in all humility. So when we are chanting, we should be chanting with humility. That Krishna, how kind you are that you have given me this opportunity to chant your name. You are non-different. So name and Krishna are non-different. You are non-different. So and then with that mood, when we chant, we will see Krishna in his name. The method prescribed is as Save Mana Krishna Padraya Vindeyo. One must engage one's mind fully in Krishna. Only then will there remains no other engagement to agitated minds. So here now Krishna is going to tell how to control the mind. So Arjuna raised the question, hey Krishna, it is very difficult to control the mind. I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. Right? So then see what Krishna answers. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnirgram Chalam
Mano durnigram chalam.
Abhyashena tu Kaunteya
Abhyasena tu kaunteya.
Vairagya cha grihate.
Vairagyencha grihate.
Lord Shri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. So if we do both the things, we try to detach from the material world and then suitable practice. So that is coming from the Ashtanga Yoga. What is the equivalent in the Bhakti Yoga? How we do it? So detachment becomes attachment. We try to attach with Krishna. And then we at suitable practices, we are trying to, of course, like the worshipping the Lord, right? Sarvanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, like Pada Sevanam, Tasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedam. There are 10, eight process, nine process, nine different angas of 9 different angas of bhakti, which start from Shravanam. We can hear. So one can become perfect just by listening, by hearing about the Krishna Katha, or by doing kirtan, or one can do multiple of these things. Okay, so this can the same result can be which is very hard to do in Ashtanga yoga in this age, can be easily be possible, relatively easily be possible by bhakti yoga, where one get attached to Krishna by following one of the 9 angas of Krishna consciousness and just doing those basic A, B, C, D, right? So the difficulty of controlling the obstinate mind as expressed by Arjuna is accepted by the personality of Godhead. But at the same time, he suggests that by practice and detachment, it is possible. Okay? By the practice of Krishna consciousness, however, one engages in 9 types of devotional service to the Lord. The first and foremost of such devotional engagement is hearing about Krishna. So, is Sarvanam. This is a very powerful transcendental method for purging the mind of all misgiving. The more one hears about Krishna, the more one becomes enlightened and detached from everything that draws the mind away from Krishna. So, this is how one can achieve the result of Ashtanga yoga by listening. As one hearing more Krishna Katha, one is getting enlightened. At the same time, they start getting detached from the material things. Okay, and the mind is becoming more stable. By detaching the mind from activities not devoted to the Lord, one can very easily learn Vairagya. So the true Vairagya happens. The purpose of Vairagya is not to leave everything. The Vairagya is that we are not attached to the material things. That's what the Vairagya means. Vairagya means detachment from the matter and engagement of the mind in spirit. So we are detaching from the matter and engaging the mind in spirit. Impersonal spiritual detachment is more difficult than attaching the mind to the activities of Krishna. So impersonal is, what does the impersonal spiritual detachment means? What, Mataji? No, no. So impersonal, see, there are impersonalists. Impersonalists say that, yeah, there is God, but God is just energy, or God doesn't have any shape or form. So they are called impersonalists. They think there is somebody supreme, but that supreme doesn't have a form, right? Uh, what you have, of course, you'll see Prabhupada, like he said, in a way, impersonalism is like atheism. Just like people say that I don't believe in God. Similarly, in the impersonalist also, they're not believing the God, like the God has a form. They think, oh, the God doesn't have. I have a form, but God doesn't have a form, right? So those are called impersonalist. Okay. So here, where was I?
They still do deity worship, bro.
Yes,
Though
but
they say
yeah.
they don't understand their logic.
So yeah, so they do the DT, but they say that in the beginning stage, they say that ultimately God is formless, but to get there, I have to develop attachment, so I'll do the deity worship. And then once I become Paramhamsa, then I won't do it. So it's very convoluted logic they give, very convoluted logic they give, which is not at all appropriate, correct. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared 500 years ago, um, and when he went to Banaras, they were Banaras is famous for all the Vedantists who are perfect in Vedanta, considered to be perfect in Vedanta. So they are all Mayavadis, means they don't believe in the form of the God. So there is a conversation happens, and then they all took shelter of. I'm just not going into the story. Sometime when I have the time, I'll definitely talk about that. Just from Chaitanya Charitamrita, they all submitted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying they understood, and they said that yes, I understand that Krishna has a form, and our understanding is not correct, right? So the purpose of Vedanta and Vedanta Sutra is to understand Krishna. And why I mentioned that, so in one of the conversation with one of his, there's a character is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was the Vedantist and a very elderly person, and he was the biggest Vedantist that time. He was trying to teach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Vedanta, and then after hearing 3-4 days, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't ask a single question. Then he tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Did you understand anything, whatever I have taught you in 3-4 days?" Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, "I understand Vedanta fully well, but the meaning which you are trying to teach me, I don't follow because it's just the convoluted thing. The meaning is straightforward in the answer, but you are talking all the indirect thing. Because this is so, from there we can derive this, and this is all wrong." And then that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became the disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right. So basically, I'm telling that there are, and these are the conversation you will see where these shastras are being taught, and like the argument and counter argument, right? And then they understand, oh, based on this, it makes sense. God has a form. God has a form, and we can do the bhakti of God by using the mantra chanting and by serving the God.
But the God can take various forms, right?
Yes. So very good. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, like, so there is no specific form to the God.
Yes. Okay. So let me talk about this quickly. So God can be understood in 3 forms. That is the complete understanding. The first is God has energy. So there is the Brahman, which people impersonalists call as the highest. So there is a Brahman form, which is God's energy.
Right.
He is not the. Then God is Paramatma, and then Swam Bhagwan. So God's full understanding is that God has a form. God is also a localized form. He sits as Paramatma in all of us, and God is energy permeates. And Maya Devi is one of the energy of the God.
So hang on. So the third one, you say that it permeates everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right. And the second one, you said it's living in everyone.
Paramatma, yes.
Paramatma.
Yes.
The very first one is?
His Swam Bhagwan. He has a form.
No,
He has a
Bhagwan
form.
is like, is a power.
So Bhagwan has power. Bhagwan is not the power. Bhagwan has. Who will have the power? Somebody should have a power, right? Can power exist without the? Can energy exist without the energetic? Who is generating the energy? Can energy exist without the energetic?
It can take different forms.
No, but how? Tell me. If there is an energy, there must be.
Energy transforms.
And that's true. Energy transforms, but where the energy is coming from?
Source of it is pretty. That's pretty hard to get.
No, there's no guess. It is very clear in Bhagavad Gita itself. In chapter 4, what we learned, Krishna is telling the people who understand my transcendental appearance and disappearance will know me. Right? The people who don't understand would never know it. So there is a complete, and then Krishna is telling that Atma Paramatma he talks about in chapter 2. Correct? From starting chapter 7, you see all the personal form. He's telling that I am the, just like you see the pearl in the necklace. Thank you, Prabhu. In the necklace, but you don't see the thread. What is holding the pearl? We see all this manifestation. We see that what is holding that. He's telling I am that thread. Right? So there is a complete description that Krishna has a form, and then after Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam was this is the last book which Ved Vyasji compiled. Right? The personal description, how Krishna looks like. He is the dark. His color is like a dark blue cloud. Right? Dark black cloud, like a rainy cloud. The description, how Krishna looks, he has a form. And but then we say that
no, Krishna in Dwapar Yuga has a form. Like Rama in Treta Yuga has its own form. So there are different forms of the same person.
Yes. So okay. Now, so okay. So now, so okay. so Krishna has form, but then he can manifest. I can say the thing what you are saying in a sastric manner, which is correct, which is Krishna, first of all, we have to understand has a form, but then Krishna can come as Rama, Krishna can come as Narsimha, Krishna can come as Vamana, Krishna can come as Narayana. So Krishna he has unlimited form. He has unlimited form. But to say that Krishna form is coming from energy is wrong, because then logically also how a energy can create energetic. What we see, energetic can create energy. But how the energy can create energetic? That energy must have been created by some energetic person. Energy cannot exist without the source. Who is that source? And that source we call as Bhagwan. And then the understanding of Bhagwan is Bhagwan, true understanding. And there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which talks about that there are three aspects of God. One aspect, again I'm repeating, there is a Brahman aspect, which is the energy aspect. The other is the Paramatma aspect. And the third is the Bhagwan aspect. Bhagwan is Swayam Bhagwan, means who has a form. Okay, that form can appear in multiple things. So from that perspective, you are completely right. He can appear as Vishnu, he can appear as Narayan. I repeat, okay. Now there one can argue which is the supreme of all the form, which is the supreme form. I'm not even going there, right? This is the right now, that's not the subject matter. Okay. But to understand that, the complete understanding is that God means all the three aspects. If then the Mayavadi says that, oh, I don't believe that, they say that the God doesn't have a form. God is energy. And that is what Prabhupada is called is atheism, because you are negating. What atheism means? Atheism is negating God. They are telling that we all exist, we all came from atom, and there is no possibility of God. That's atheism, right? I'm saying that there is no God. In Mayavadi also, what you are saying, you are telling that, oh, there is energy, but there is no God. God means I don't think there is a form. There is some energy. So Prabhupada mentioned that Mayavadi is worse than atheism. Why? Because the atheistic person can become Krishna conscious person. Because once they are given the reason that and the logic, and they are given the knowledge, they can become Krishna conscious. But the Mayavadi, their understanding becomes so corrupted that to make them a devotee is very difficult. So it's worse than becoming a. So Mayavadi, that's the Mayavadi. As I was telling you, right? As you read more of these scriptures, you will see that how the Mayavad philosophy is not correct. Okay, and why the Mayavad philosophy comes again? This is a very detailed subject. It came from Sankaracharya. Okay, so I'm going to summarize where the Mayavadi philosophy came into being. So there was Vedas was existed. Vedas said that okay, one should do this yagya and everything. But then the time came when people started doing, and in the yagya, there is a provision for animal sacrifice. Okay, there is a provision for animal sacrifice. But then, who should do the animal sacrifice?
Qualified person.
Qualified person. And who is the qualified person? Yeah, so some of the things, so you're right. Some of the things, they're able to bring the fire without just by chanting mantra. They don't need the matches. Okay. They can, when they are sacrificing the animal, they're able to elevate that animal into a human. So the animal is put into is given to the fire, but then the animal is brought back as a human. So they elevate. But what happened? This Brahmana became corrupted and they started killing the animal indiscriminately. So that's the time Buddhaji was sent. So Buddha's name is mentioned in Bhagavatam that he is the incarnation who is empowered incarnation, Sakti Avesh Avatar. Empowered incarnation. His name is mentioned, his parents' name is mentioned, his village is mentioned, the time and place where he will be born, all those things are mentioned in our scriptures.
Ahead of time?
Yes. Ahead of time. Yes. You can go and read. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam also. I have just recently read. Right? The Chanakya is mentioned. And these scripture has ever existed. Even based on the modern people like who doesn't believe in scripture, they also, they are just people who are scientists. They have also proven that at least this book has existed for 3,500 years. At least this book is 3,500 years old. That's what they say.
The Bhagavad.
Yeah, historian, they say that at least this book has existed for 3,500 years ago. When all this personality came, right? Like the Chanakya Pandit, all these people came recently, right? Even Buddha.
Buddha is very recent, but Chanakya is pretty old.
Pretty recent. Recent. All those things. So all those things are mentioned. Okay. So through that, we know that these scriptures are not something which have just made up. They are historical proof. Even if somebody is atheist, they can see the historical proof. And if you want, you can go and buy a book called Mahabharat Myth or Fiction. I have that book. You can see all the proofs which that guy has collected. 200 plus proof that Mahabharat happened. Krishna existed. And he's not collecting from, these are the historical proof he has collected. Okay. The scientists, for their own selfish desire, they negated God. Einstein believed in God. Newton believed in God. Okay. So now coming to a story. So then Buddha came, and to stop the animal sacrifice, he said that I don't believe in Vedas. He said, I don't believe in Vedas. And then he talked about nirvana. He said that we should all become vegetarian. We should all become no animal sacrifices. We should be compassionate to all the animals and living beings, right? And he talked about nirvana, means a state where you are not attached, right? Nirvana. But then there is a proof also where one of his disciples asked, do you think the God doesn't exist? He ignored that question. Because his goal was to just to get the animal sacrifices stopped. Then what happened? Now animal sacrifice stopped, but now Veda has to be established. Then Sankaracharya came. He is the empowered incarnation, Shiva avatar. Okay, Sankaracharya came and he said that now to build the Vedas, they cannot come and say that, oh God, this is what the God is. They said that, okay, no. Veda exists, but the understanding of Veda is God is an energy. God, okay, God is an energy, right? Impersonal form. God exists like that. Then the next Ramanujacharya came after that. And these are historical facts. You can go and read, and you can read their philosophy. Ramanujacharya came. Who is Anuj of Ram? Lakshman.
Anuja.
Anuj.
Okay, Anuja.
Younger. So Ramanujacharya is avatar of Lakshman.
Oh, really?
Yes.
His name suggests that.
Right? Today you go to in South India, you're from South India. If you go to where is Ramanujacharya? Srirangam. His nails are still growing. His like
His body is still
is
preserved.
still preserved. You should go and take these things. We just yes.
They did
Yeah.
not buried or fired the body.
Okay.
So every set of duration, some years, they
They apply some
sandal pulp and some medical.
some cream. Yeah, some
They will
Overlay
overlay the body, and they keep it in a glass box, and every time they pray.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so this proves, see, I'm going fast. These proofs exist. Okay. So now then Ramanujacharya came. He said, no, God has a form, but he said that Advaita, he's a single form. Then Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, right? Dvaita, right? Then the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he said that no, Achintya Bheda, that Krishna, Bhagwan is at the same time, it is inconceivable to understand Bhagwan with our logic, right? So he's both Dvaita and Advaita, both together. And it can be harmonized. So he exists as in two forms, and he can indeed one form also, right? Means energy and energetic, and energy also and energetic also, right? So he said that he brought it all together. So if we read it systematically with a very open mind, then you will see God has a form. God has a Paramatma aspect. God has the energy aspect. Because whenever a powerful person comes, he has the energy also. His entourage comes, right? Powerful president entourage comes, all the ministers, army comes. So that's president's energy. That's president's energy. It's not that energy means that it's something which I cannot see. Energy means these are my powerful people. So Supreme Lord exists as Krishna, but then he has energies. All demigods and everybody, all the humans, all the living is here, all his energy. Okay, so that is the full understanding. Yeah, Krishna to Bhagwan Swayam. Yes. So Krishna Krishna talks about 28 different incarnation, and then at the end he says that I have described all this incarnation, but then Krishna himself is Bhagwan. Oh, sorry, Ved says, not Krishna. Ved says that Krishna himself is the Swayam Bhagwan. He's not an incarnation. He is the Swayam Bhagwan, which appears as incarnation, but he is the Swayam Bhagwan. It takes time. Means there are, once we start reading all those stuff, the connection will happen, and logically also then one will be able to understand that how it is possible. Okay, so let me finish this last verse here for today. Then this will end this section. Ashamyatatmana yogo dusprapya iti me mati vyashatmana tu yattata sakyo vaptun upayata. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. So, whose mind is unbridled means whose mind is doesn't have any boundary condition. I can do anything. But whose mind is little controlled, like, okay, there is a boundary condition. Then so if unbridled means no foundation, I will do whatever I want. Self-realization is very difficult. But he whose mind is controlled, right, who's brought, okay, this self-regulation I will do, this is my practice, this is what I will do, whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means. What does appropriate means? Depending on the kind of yoga you are doing, appropriate means, of course, he's right now, Krishna is talking about the Ashtanga yoga part, right? Appropriate means they are a method he's talked about, right? Appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization. Trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire without pouring the water on it. Okay, so basically, if we control our mind, slowly it is possible to control the mind and bring it to under the shelter of Krishna. So I'll stop it here. Sorry, Santosh Prabhu and Pragya Mata is still there. Um, so we can blame it on Sridhar today, right? the problem maker, right? But all good questions, Sridhar. Means, see, this doubt, unless we develop this conviction, who Krishna is, Krishna tells in chapter 4, we won't be able to understand him. So theoretically, at least in the beginning, let's say there is no conviction, at least theoretically we have believed, okay, I'm going to believe Krishna is a God, Krishna has a form. And let me read the whole chapter 18. Then I'll come back and see, validate whether my hypothesis was correct or not. And that time you negate. No, it doesn't make sense. Still, I don't believe. That's totally fine. But because that himself Krishna is telling in chapter 4 we are, right? That's what? Chapter 4? Chapter 4, yeah, chapter 4 you saw that yeah, verse, what happened? So many, okay. My page has PG 4.9, I think. So I say, yeah. Janma karma chame divyam evam yovati tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma neiti mam iti. So Arjuna, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. So it is not easy to understand his transcendental nature because people think, oh, he was just another human being. So Mayavadi consider that Krishna was a human. He was just given a special power. He was a human. That's Mayavadi understanding. Because they see he came just like what you're telling.
Bhagavad actually believe that Krishna has powers.
But he is a human. He is just given a special power. He's a human. He's just an incarnation. But the highest is energy. There's no form. No form. Right? That's what Mayavadi says. Okay? So, but here what Krishna is telling. it is very hard to understand my transcendental nature or my activity, because then the people are like Mayavadi, who's very intelligent, and by just the convoluted logic, they prove that Krishna doesn't have a form. They can never understand Krishna, because Krishna himself is telling that those people will never attain me. Because what is telling? Who will attain me? Who understand my transcendental appearance and disappearance and activities. And those people, once who understand, they will come back to me. Upon leaving the body, they don't take this birth again in material world, but attains my eternal abode, which means Goloka Dham. So, but for them, they have to understand that Krishna was not a human. He is the Supreme Lord. He's not even a demigod. He's the Supreme Lord. All other incarnation, everybody appeared from him. So we have to start from that theory. And as we are going and understanding Gita, then the God himself, Lord Paramatma, sitting in our heart, for our sincerity, he's going to reveal and give us that firm belief that who Krishna is. 9.11. अवजानाति मां मूढ़ा मनुष्यम तनुम आश्रितम परम भावम अजानंतो माम भूता महेश्वरम. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme lord of all that be. This is a wonderful verse. What Krishna is directly telling. So you don't need to even read Bhagavatam. Krishna, what? Again, just read it slowly. Fools deride me. Fools think Krishna doesn't exist when I descend in the human form. So because Krishna, when he came in the human form. So he looked like a human, but his body was transcendental because he appeared his own form. His own form in Goloka is two-handed Krishna form, playing the flute, playing with Gopi, right? Who loves cow. That's how he lives in Goloka form. So he came in that identical form on Mother Earth. And he is meaning fools deride me. So they are fools. They don't understand me. When I descend in the human form, they do not know my transcendental nature as the. So what Krishna is telling? My transcendental nature as the supreme lord of all that be. He is the supreme lord of everything. Whatever exists, all that be. It's not etc. 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 It's telling that anything you take in this world, I am the lord of that thing, supreme lord of all. Okay, so you'll see more and more verses like this in Bhagavad Gita also, and slowly see this chapter 7 to chapter 12. There will be a lot more about Krishna. It's a Bhakti Yoga section. Okay, so I'll stop the recording. Pragya Mataji, are you still there?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.